everybody. This is Rich Hanlin with Mortgage Ballers, and today I got a good one for you. Can you say best of the best? When I say best of the best, I ain't playing games. I'm talking take a top 10 mortgage broker, figure out who the best of the best in that company is out of 627 people, and find the top 25. And you got the guy sitting right next to me. His name is
Thomas Harris.
Yes, it is. Do you go by Tom or Thomas?
I go by Thomas, but I tell anybody they can call me whatever they want. I don't really care.
Right on. I actually knew that. This is why this is a good interview today. Thomas, how old are you?
I am 28. I'll be 29 in May.
Okay. How long have you been in this industry?
I have been doing this since, I want to say 2019. I got into this as an assistant and got my license that October. So I'm lapping my 6th year right now.
Okay. I'm going to say this, and 3 of the last years have probably been what most people consider pretty tough if they didn't go through the 2008 downturn. So you came in, you probably went through COVID, which is probably pretty good. And then 2021, 22, 23, 24. And so far, rates aren't really going up. Well, here's what's funny. The feds aren't manipulating the rates. The market's doing its thing. But I almost like it when the market does its thing. But something's going on out there. But this is my point. You don't have to be 35 years in the industry. You don't have to be 15 years. We have those people too. 6 years in the industry, and he's one of the top producers at one of the top companies in the nation. I want to say that again. One of the top producers at one of the top 10 national mortgage brokers, Xpert Home Lending, in the nation, and he's 28 years old. He's only been doing it for 6 years. How many people you got on your team?
I have 2 loan officers under me now, so we have 3 on the team. I have an assistant, and then we have 2 processors that we use pretty regularly.
Wow. And I want to ask you, you did an event pretty recently. How many people showed up at your event?
It was pretty good. We had 150 people show up for our grand opening, but it's not the first event we did, so we were kind of prepared for it.
Okay. So in other words, you wake up in the morning and you're getting yourself in front of a lot of people, and you've only been doing this 6 years. And it sounds to me like you have figured out something, because I know this. I met Thomas back when he had started. And he started under an incredible, one of the top originators in the nation, Amanda Stevenson. So I'll give that credit too. And then he broke off and went his own way, and he landed here at Xpert. So we're very happy to have him here. I'm very honored. But a lot of people are struggling in the same exact market that you are having tremendous success. And today we're going to try and figure out why.
Let's do it.
I know one of those things that I share with people about you, and it is something you did. You took on, you did something different. You were doing decent, but then all of a sudden it just took off. What would you say happened?
The biggest thing for me is I took on coaching and really got pushed to do everything that I was avoiding day in and day out. And I was like, oh, I'm listening to this podcast. This podcast says you have to call all these agents, talk to all these people. I just wouldn't want to do it. So I didn't, until I had someone holding me accountable, putting my feet to the fire, saying, these are the tasks that need to be done to move the business forward. If this is something you truly want, you have to do this. And then being confronted with it week in and week out of, hey, this is what you committed to. What did you actually do? And that has been all the difference for me, is just being held accountable to actually doing the tasks, to meet new people, to get involved in the community, to be able to grow the business.
Well, and that's, we saw it too. I remember hearing that you started doing, because I get to see the numbers, and it's like, Thomas started calling me, hey, have you done the top 10 yet? Have you done the top 10? And I'm like, why does he keep asking me? And I'm like, oh, okay. Out of nowhere, he's starting to hit those double digits. This is interesting. What's going on here? I'm asking.
Yeah, see if I hit it. I'm like, what's all this work for? I want to see my name up there at least once.
I still owe last month's. Well, I'll probably get that done today. But we keep adding better and better people into that mix too. So that top 10 gets harder and harder and harder, but yet you keep getting there. And so you might be the youngest person in that top 10, if I'm thinking through it correctly.
I hope.
We got some incredible people there, but I think you are the youngest of all of them. And that's not a bad thing. I'm not trying to make it sound like you're a kid, but you're a kid compared to me. There we go. I'm proud of you. I'm tired of people saying they can't do it, and I'm looking at you going, well, then how's he doing it? What's he doing different? Why wouldn't you pick up the phone and call him? Maybe you need some one-on-one with Thomas. Um, Thomas got so busy, he had to take on more people for his team, right? He did it himself, and then he grew that. And guess what? By the end of the year, he's probably going to have more people because success begets success begets success. So I'm proud of you. Not that you need my recognition, but
I do
I only
appreciate it.
I only get to see a few hundred loan officers day in and day out, and I get to see the little things that separate those people that have the same industry, the same licenses, might be in the same neighborhood you're in. And I always think, how is one person doing this and one person's telling me they're going to file bankruptcy? Something's missing. And is it coaching? Well, for Thomas, it was. And coaching come in a lot of forms, but we'll talk more about that later. But it's been absolutely amazing watching you get to this point. And let's be real. Thomas could pick up the phone and call any brokerage in the United States and they'd hire him like that. So any day that I have Thomas under us, whether it's one day more or 5 more years, thank you for your partnership. You deserve all the accolades of everything that you get. You're self-made, and there's nothing like it, because once you can do that, no one will ever make your destiny but you. And that's a very powerful thing. I know that because I've sat where you're at. And once I figured out that I could make money on my own and not answer questions and have those freedoms, um, I'm unhireable as a W-2 employee, basically. And that's a good thing. I have no fallback. Um, you answered a couple of my questions right off with the team, the broker side. I know you go 100 miles an hour. You're doing events, you're closing deals. Do you have a life outside of loans?
I do. I've got a girlfriend. I live with her. We kind of just have downtime. I'm getting pretty old. I don't go out. I don't drink. I stopped drinking almost 2 years ago. So like, all the craziness I kind of got out of my system. My vices now are probably golfing and going to open houses on the weekend and trying to continue to do this because I
Okay.
think what a lot of people do miss in this industry is you kind of do have to be crazy and go all in and try to put as much time and effort into it if you really want to find success. Because I don't know if you feel this way, but every month feels like a brand new month.
It
So even
is.
if you do well last month, it's like, well, what's the pipeline going to be next month? So you have to continue to be out there and meet people. So I do have a personal life, but it is pretty focused on growing what we have here.
Right on. Is she in the real estate or lending industry, or is she in something different?
No, she's finishing her nursing like
Okay.
degree right now. She's finishing her boards, and then that'll be nice when she's a nurse. So
And does she understand what you do for a living? Because that was always a hard one.
she does for sure, especially when I'm gone all the time or going to open house and stuff like that. So it's nice to have a support system too. That definitely makes it a lot easier.
No, 100% agree. I like it. Um, and you're right. You're at your age, I was doing the same thing. I got my real estate side and I would hold open houses at my realtor's things. Because what I found is if I showed up as a loan officer trying to be with them, people would say, "Oh, got it. I'm paying cash." I'm like, "Really?" They didn't want to talk to me. So I'm like, "Okay." But they would talk to the realtor all day long. And I'm like, let me hold an open house. If I get anybody, they're yours. But I'm going to see if I can get some loan conversations. And people would come in. I'd take the homes I thought the most traffic. I didn't take the $1 million homes. I wanted the homes that the first time home buyers come through. You can get
Absolutely.
100 people on a weekend. Um, and I could have tons of conversations. I could do that January through April. And then boom, typically I could have enough business up and running between those contacts for the rest of the year. But it started building really quick because you do that twice a month. So it's what, 2, 4, 6, 8 weekends. Um, and it's raining anyway. So not like I was doing a whole lot, but the real estate market in California was pretty hot there for a while. And it just, you put a house up and people are coming. And so not everybody comes pre-approved. Not everybody comes paying cash. And I could get good conversations over the course of a weekend. But if you could walk away with 10, 15 good leads per weekend, and you could talk the talk, walk the walk, and you could get them to have more conversations to learn more about you versus loan officer, don't need you. So many people lead with that. Hi, I'm a loan officer. Well, you're not. You have so much more. I'd rather tell you everything else I am. And by the way, I also do loans because maybe we're not even a good fit, anyways, to do business, realtor or borrower. Um, Believe me, I try and do anything I can for people, but there are some people that I recognize quickly, realtor or borrower wise, that are going to take way too much of my time. I'm not a good fit, but sometimes I'll say, but I know who is. Let me get this over there because they'll take on those kind of challenges. I do help people with credit. I like that. I'm good at helping people get their credit scores high enough to become a homeowner.
Right.
I didn't tell them I'm going to get them to 800. If I get you to a certain thing, guess what? You now qualify. Stuff like that. But I'm always backdooring the thought process because I hate going out and shaking hands all day. So I'm glad you can do it. But I found I can use YouTube to Facebook to events. Like your event thing is incredible. When you can get people in a common area and they have something they like and they're laughing and things like that, they associate that with the person who threw the event.
Totally.
And that was you. So
And it's just another form of leverage too. Like at the event, we're getting in front of 150 people through YouTube. You're getting in front of,
yes.
thousands of people. I see Stephanie's video has like 7,000 views right now. It'd be so hard to talk to 7,000 people one-on-one. Even when people post on Instagram, if you get 100 views, people will be disappointed, but go try to talk in front of 100 people. I just did it
Yeah,
at the event. It's hard.
it is.
It's posting on social media, getting that leverage is awesome. But for open houses, I mean, it's so underrated in terms of you can go and meet an agent there. You can go sit in an open house and work it and probably meet 10 groups that come through. And if you're
Right.
good at having conversations, you can practice. If you're not going to get the business, you're not going to get it either way, but at least you can improve your conversations with people that you don't know because ultimately we have to be able to transact with strangers that are looking to purchase a home. So it's a great way for people to learn.
You know, I almost feel like the prerequisite to become a loan officer should be that you should work for a lead company and you have to dial 100 calls a day for the first 90 days of your career. And it's called boot camp. And either you make it out or you don't, because something happens during that I started in leads and you eventually become numb. It's a numbers game. And as fast as I can get that person to tell me no, good, I can move on because I got to call 100, and out of those 100, I'm going to end up with 2 loans. Might be the last 2 calls I make, but you're not the one. Cool. I appreciate that. Don't talk to me for an hour and then say no. That's on me for not getting a little more aggressive with what I was trying to do. I'm not just trying to call and, hey, let's talk about the sun, but trying to find your way in. You're going to get crushed so many times that eventually you go, ugh, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. And you get really better at talking to strangers right on the spot, right now. They turn around in your face and say, who are you? What do you want? And what's your answer to that? It's like, there's ways to answer it and not sound like the broken record that the other 99 people would sound like. So, um,
The leads thing is definitely huge,
yeah,
though. I mean, we have a lot of leads and everything that we work and practicing on those. I mean, they're so indifferent for the most part to who they're having a conversation with. So it definitely trains a lot because you do have to get a ton of reps. And we
yes,
like locally in Sacramento with Paramount or what's now Good Leap, I've seen so many big loan officers come out of there because they just get trained like crazy because they have so many at bats. And there's so many people that just don't even attempt to step up to the plate. So they're just waiting to hit a home run, and it's like you're not even swinging your bat at all.
yeah, it's a backward coaching method. Like calling leads all day is no different than your coach saying, "I need you to touch 25 people a day." Um, it ends up being the same thing till you become numb at it, and you're like, I'm not apprehensive. Boom, I got to get it on there. No Brownell. I've seen him at Answer Home Loans, and when he went in call mode, man, he didn't stop. He got him in, pulled out his piece of paper, and I saw Stephanie Gilbert. She still had her piece of paper. And I'm like, I got to turn in my piece of paper. The hardest thing, I think, and you tell me this, for me, when my pipeline fills up, I don't want to keep making the calls or the connections. I call them connections. Um, and that's the kiss of death because what got you the loans and the bigger pipeline, you don't stop. And I think some people fall into that trap.
I think, especially after watching Stephanie, her interview with you, and like talking to her personally, when they're in the core, they really learn. Okay, this is the activity that makes me money, and then they start hiring for those other pieces for fulfillment and customer service, so they can stay doing that one task that's getting in front of new people, meeting new people, helping train agents or referral partners how to prospect and get new business and meet new people themselves. But they seem to get really good at that front end prospecting and stay in that. Because when you're doing it yourself, you don't have a processor, which I think is crazy when people do that. They fill the pipeline, goose egg the next month, because it's hard to
Right.
get into the cycle because you get
Like
so
this.
overwhelmed when you have a lot of business. And yeah, like the big podcast, mortgage marketing animals, they talk about the roller coaster. Like everybody talks about getting off of that. And it's just figuring out, okay, how do I replace at least the processing side so I can stay on the front end and keep making contacts? Because if you stop talking to new people, you're going to dry up.
I had recently read a book because everybody says it different from Tony Robbins, you're right, to the other people. But Dan Martelli has one called Buy Back Your Time. And, the way he said it, 'cause I've heard it a million times, but the way he said it, you only have so much energy in a day. And when you identify the high ticket items that you can do, but then you catch yourself doing the low ticket items that you could pass off to somebody who's probably better at them because that's all they're going to do. You're okay at all these things, but you're robbing yourself of money, your family of money, because you won't let go of these items. You're giving the most expensive person in your platform to do the most remedial task, and you have to stop that. Like, oh, I can't afford to do a processor. No, you can't afford not to use a processor. Um, I only do one deal a month. Well, maybe that's why you're doing one deal a month. I we can analyze it down to the hour of what people are doing, and that's the most incredible thing. Budgeting your time and analyzing it. He talked about have a piece of paper and for 1 week, every 15 minutes your phone goes off. You write down exactly what you're doing. Just do it. I'm at the bathroom.
My
I'm
coach
taking
gave
a
me that a
call.
long time ago. That is like one of the most effective things. Like, oh
Yeah.
my, this guy just
What are you doing?
a
There you
notebook.
go.
And whenever you're in a slump, like if you track your time and you're confronted with the fact of, oh, I just wasted like 4 hours today doing nothing, you want to have the achievement. So you're writing down, like, okay, I did this. And all of a sudden you have the next 15 minutes. Okay, how can I use this to propel myself forward? That's a really strong exercise that anybody that's
I
having a
agree.
100% should use.
I can live with myself at night. I've gone 4 months without a paycheck where I had to use my credit card. Back in the day, you could take cash advances, but I trusted my process, and boom, all of a sudden the deals came. I stayed consistent, but if I write it down, I can say, no, I'm doing the things that I know work. Just stay consistent, Rich. It will, and I trust that it's going to work out. I also live off my averages. I never, hey, I got a great month. I'm going to drive a BMW. Hey, I just starved. I'm going to eat top ramen. I learned to live off my averages. We're in a sales industry and income can vary. And I always challenge people, sometimes we need money conversations because when you're not worrying about that, I got to close the next check or the next deal, I could get myself ahead 2 or 3 months. Oh, cool. I'm actually working for 90 days from now. I got my bills covered, at least at a minimum. And so I always worked hard. My wife always knew when we were doing it, but she liked it too because she wanted consistency, especially with kids and stuff. But it's like, hey, we're not going to be going out this month because it's slow. But man, I just got some deals in, so they're going to go. And now we can close deals, and hell, you can close a refi in like 10 days, maybe 8. We have docs that purchases in 12 days, let alone if somebody wants to do a 15-day close. Things have really, the better you guys are, the faster you can get and turn. So it's not a matter of, hey, a commercial deal is going to take 2 years to close. We can close stuff pretty quick. So I like that. Here's a good one for you because you're young, but you're in a market. You're not in the easiest market. California is not the easiest market. You run into a lot of people with this conversation, I guarantee you. What is your advice right now for home buyers who are sitting on the fence and they're basically, oh, I'll just wait till another day. It's not perfect. I'm waiting for whatever. How do you talk to those kind of people?
I think for homebuyers on the fence in Sacramento right now, 45% of our transactions still have seller concessions of some sort, everything. So it just depends what their objection is, or even if homeownership's really even their goal. If we have, temporary buy down, stuff like that, that'll give them short term relief. And they're early on in their career, they know that their income's going to increase and they do want to become a homeowner. Sometimes that's what gets them off the sidelines. But it's so situational. And I mean, I don't try to persuade people into doing one thing or not if it's against what they like internally feel is right for them. But if the longer they wait, they're just going to continue to wait. My buddy that's an investor, he's like, you just have to bite the bullet. You'll never feel ready. You got to buy them. Like you got to just keep buying. So the same thing for them. If they want to be a homeowner, you have to figure it out. And I've noticed that in my life too. You get into something and it's overwhelming and it's too much responsibility, but you just adjust to it and you get stronger over time. And yeah, at the beginning, the payment sucks, but maybe it pushes you to work more and you pick up extra shifts and all of a sudden now you're making more and it's more comfortable. So I think there's like a chain reaction of responsibility once you do take on home ownership that people can benefit from that they don't see. So I try to talk through all of that with people and be like, hey, this isn't going to, debilitate you right out of the gate. It probably is going to make you stronger, but here's some short-term relief or things we can do to make it easier for you to get in.
No, that's good. I want to give you some kudos. There's only two people that I've ever met in 35 years that have gone from a starting point to where you're at. I meet a lot of people that are already high performers, like a Stephanie Gilbert. When I first met her, she was already doing big numbers. But what I'm talking about is somebody that was a beginner, because I knew you when you first started. And there's another person I knew, Michelle Malota, out of Answer Home Loans. She was a processor for Brandy Stevens. Both of you, and you started under Amanda Stevenson, but she came in one day and said, "Hey, I've got my license. I know a lot of people. I know the loans. Maybe I can have conversations. Would that be okay?" And I'm like, "Well, as long as Brandy's okay, I'm cool with it." And hell, next thing I know, she's like one of the top loan loan originators, let alone female loan originators in the whole nation. And I saw her do that. I mean, when she said she knew people all over the place. Um, you're right in that same category. So I used to tell her story, but now I tell people I know two people that have done it because I've been very blessed to run into people that are already accomplished and to see people that weren't accomplished figure it out and now are unstoppable. The sky's the limit for you, success wise and all that, which is crazy in a good way. Um, when people say, "Oh, I'm okay with being average or less than average," I'm like, okay, but just so you know, you don't have to be. Because I know two people that woke up one day and said, "You know what, I think I could do better." And guess what? They did. And they both are two of the best in the nation at this point in time. And I've seen that. And that's the cool part. You asked me what I like after 35 years. It's the Michelle Malota stories and the Thomas Harris stories. Because you just don't see it very much anymore, to be very honest with you. And so when I get to see it firsthand, that's the fun part of my day. And then you don't need my accolades. You don't need to say I'm proud of you, stuff like that. It's cool to see it.
Find it.
That's what keeps me going is who's the next Michelle Malota? Well, I know who it is. It's Thomas Harris. Who's the next Michelle and Thomas Harris? Well, there's somebody out there. I never know who it is. Jamie Newman's right behind you. She's starting to make changes. And I'm like, okay, I'm seeing it. So I can see the attributes early now, and I look for it and I'm like, okay, I saw that with Thomas. I saw it with her. I saw it with her. I saw it with him. And it's like I can pick them off early. And some of them just need someone to come behind them and say, "You know what? Go watch Thomas Harris. Go watch Stephanie Gilbert. Go watch this, this, and this. And tell me what you think they all have in common." Because when I watch those and I watch you, I see a similarity. We just need to turn that dial a little bit more. You're stuck right here. And a lot of people tell me, Thomas, they're like, nobody, they feel like they're on an island, right? Nobody steps in to at least say, "I see you," right? "I see what you're doing. This makes sense to me. Oh, I saw what you're doing. You might want to not go that way," or something like that. And that's why I capture these videos, because it's not going to expire. It's going to be good a day from now. It's going to be good a week from now. It's going to be good a year from now. When Thomas Harris is number one in the whole United States, they're going to say, there's an old video about Thomas Harris out there on Mortgage Ballers when he was a young lad 10 years ago. Now he has gray hair. His hair's gone. But look at all those loans that he's done. He's got a team of 150. I see big things for you, and it's okay. You're on your way. What's that?
I said, don't wish my hair away. I don't want to lose
Well, I don't wish it either, but you know what? Well, I guess I still got it going on. My
it.
son says I'm going bald, but I don't see it.
I think
It's all good though.
I think all the people that want to do better, I mean, it's hard to get going, but once you have the momentum, you just have to continue to have the drive of like, okay, I can always go back to
Always go back.
like you can think in your head, oh, this could be lost, and that's what keeps you pushing forward. Like on the way to my office today, I was listening to Sean Benosian, who is number one. I'm like, man, I just don't even understand how this guy does it. And when I talked to Stephanie, I'm like, this is insane what you're doing. And even for what I did, you're giving me a lot of praise here, but I don't even feel it. It feels like lightning in a bottle, something that is just like complete luck. And I'm like, okay, how can I learn from these people that are doing better to keep pushing forward? And I think this content that you're creating is really strong, especially because people can go back and listen again to Stephanie, or you can go listen on Spotify to Sean and hear what he's doing. None of this is secrets, and talking to more loan officers and hearing more information will at least give you an idea. But then if you start taking the action, you will see success as long as you stick to it. But it's definitely hard to get going, and a lot of people sit there for a while and try to figure that out. But if they just get out there, they can start figuring it out, and there's so much out there to learn from.
Well, you just answered about 6 of my next questions. So, well, here's a question for you because you are younger. There's a definitely the average loan officer and real estate agent pretty much are like 46, 47 years old. Um, we've gone from 400 licensees to now under 100,000 licensees since December of 2021 to now January-ish of 2025. So a lot less competition on the loans. I don't know what the real estate is other than I think last year only 28% of licensees did at least one transaction. Um, so, I mean, it got hard. It got hard for a lot of people. Some states were even harder. Um, but the fact that you have grown in that same market, there's going to be people that are like, you know what? I can't relate to the Rich Hanlins. You know, he's 57 years old. I can't relate to Stephanie Gilbert. She's too far in life. But one thing I will say about Stephanie and Ken, for that matter, they're just smooth across. They don't go up and down. Wake up and they enjoy what they do. You can see it. The conversations, they're very dialed in their day, the people they work with. And it's a pleasure to get up and go to work. Where some loan officers are like, oh my God, I'm gonna fail again today. It's like, first of all, stop saying that. What are we gonna do different today? But I know people are gonna want to reach out to you. Okay. And I can edit this out, but if you don't mind, I have a feeling that people all over the nation are going to see this and they're going to be that 30-ish person, that person maybe starting out. I don't want to overwhelm. I never want to take you backwards from the direction you're going, but there could be people that might say, I want to talk to Thomas. Maybe I need to get on the Thomas Harris team. Is that something you're open to at all?
Yeah, they can absolutely DM me on Instagram or they can call me. My number is 916-765-4783. You can call me anytime.
Okay.
I never really used to talk to a lot of people in the industry. And then Greg Lomba, who's now at Xpert, he reached out to me one time. And I have loved having connections with new loan officers.
Okay.
And the guys on my team, like I love seeing them propel forward. So there's so much business out there for the people that want to actually get after it. And you're just going to take market share from like the banks or whoever it's not providing good service. So if you care and you want to do well, you can definitely get business. And if anybody wants to talk to me about it, they can reach out to me anytime. It's not a problem.
Okay. We need to do a shameless plug here because could you actually have another top person on your team?
Yeah.
You actually have two people off the Thomas Harris team that were top 25 out of Xpert Home Lending. Who's that?
Arturo Solis, he is phenomenal. He is terrific. And he does a ton of Spanish business and he's so well connected in his community, but he also can service anybody. He's a terrific loan officer. He works very hard. Like it is such an honor to have him on our team. And yeah, it's great having him here because then it's like, okay, we can both propel forward even further because now we see the other going just as hard. So it's
Yeah.
been great having
Yeah.
him on the team. And then we have Anthony Cesarini, who's also
Well,
doing
that's right. That's right.
he's newer in the industry, but he just did 3 last month. He's going to do another 3 this month, and he's getting going and he's building a ton of relationships. He's out there doing open houses. He's doing community events. Like the thing that's different for us versus people that maybe aren't doing business is we're not just sitting at home waiting for our phones to ring. We're out there meeting new people. We're trying to be involved in the community and do everything we can to just stay in front of consumers or referral partners, whoever it is, and just try to help them.
Well, I'll tell you what, next time you throw one of those big events, if I get uh, enough, yeah, I could have went to the last one, but I'm like, man, I'll show up. I'll show up and come be there with shake hands for people for you, man. You're doing some good things. You're showing people, in my opinion, in today's day and age, 2025, you don't have to be 45, 50 years old with a million connections and 80,000 years in the business. You're rewriting how it can be done. You've got some incredible coaching just for directional purposes. And sometimes, I mean, whether that's a pro baseball player, there's a reason they have coaches, right? They don't just get there by themselves. Sometimes it just takes that one person, a mentor, or whatever, to kind of propel you. And sometimes coaches, people say, oh, well, I'm not going to listen to that person. I'm like, no, sometimes coaches don't need to be the best. They're the best at time management. And they could be used in a lot of different scenarios. In this case, loans, because sales industries are very overlapping in how we get business. And also your customers like you. I mean, you're not just burning and turning for loans. Your customers are customers for life. You're building what I think would be called a legacy. Here in a few years, you're going to have to hire more people to back service all the people you've done loans for in the past, and that's a good problem to have. You earned the right to do that. So, man, I appreciate you taking the time. I know you're busy. I also know you guys, he's in California, is 3 hours ahead of me or behind me. And he got up early for this one before he even started his day. But dude, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time this morning and all that you do. Thanks for showing people loan officers can become successful even in today's market. Dude, just keep doing what you're doing. Your energy's incredible. It's what people say about you when you're not around, and your name pops up in a lot of conversations. Congratulations on all that. You've earned it.
Thank you, Rich. That means a lot.
All right, there you have it. That's Mr. Thomas Harris. I used to call him Thomas Harris, but I'm going to start calling him Mr. Thomas Harris because he's earned it. Thanks for the time this morning. Thanks for coming on Mortgage Ballers and just having a genuine heart-to-heart talk and being as real as it gets. Congratulations on being best of the best for 2024. You'll probably be right there again 2025. Matter of fact, I know you will because I'm already seeing the numbers. But I wish you nothing but prosperity. I hope you have a credible year. And I think we're going to see something incredible happening here in the next, we're already starting to see it, but let alone, I hope you have a run of a lifetime. Absolutely changes your life for legacies to come for your family, your kids that aren't here yet, and everything that's coming your way. But dude, thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you, Rich. That was great. That was a great wrap.
Well, there you have it, Thomas Harris. I'm going to put his information for contact down into the YouTube thing. I'll get it on Facebook. Hey, if you want to reach out to Thomas, when a person of that caliber who's walked the walk, talks the talk, says he'll give you a little bit of time, take him up on it. I think you're crazy if you don't. All right, there you have it. Another great interview on Mortgage Ballers. And what do we say every time we end? Stay thirsty, my friends. All right, dude. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you, Rich. That was fun.